You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Threlkeld versus Threlkeld.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your Honor.
Mr. Threlkeld, you have entered this courtroom with a marriage on the brink of divorce. You state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men. And she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old Liliana, and have asked the court for a paternity test.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Threlkeld, you say you began exotic dancing to make extra money.
Yes,
because Mr. Threlkeld's military salary was inadequate to live on, and that led to a few indiscretions. You argue that Mr. Threlkeld treats your daughter, Liliana, differently than your other children and are hoping today's DNA results will settle the matter once and for all.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Threlkeld, when did you first discover that your wife had been unfaithful?
Actually, ma'am, I was overseas in Afghanistan, and I was at up in the Northeast, and a soldier of mine came up to me and tapped me on the boot and said, "Hey, I need to go outside. We need to talk right now." So earlier on in the day, me and him got into some words, so I thought we were going to, settle it. Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. And at the time, I found out about it. I thought, it was all just a hoax. So I went, calmly to the internet lounge, got on Facebook and asked her, "Hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all?" And she didn't really say anything, honestly. And right after I left there, our base actually got attacked. And they actually turned off the internet for 3 weeks. So I was in the dark for 3 weeks. And then another 2 weeks after those 3 weeks went by, I got transferred to Bagram. And while I was at Bagram, I finally was able to get back online. And I get on Facebook, and there's some clown on there saying, liking all her skimpy photos.
Skimpy photos.
Was following her. He liked that she was started working at the club. So then I started doing a little bit of research, wondering, who this guy is. Mm-hmm. So I went to the phones, and I called her and I said, "Hey, I know you're stripping. I could somewhat deal with. Tell me about this guy that's going on." And she says, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just a friend, et cetera." The same BS that every girl says.
First of all, we were done. He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy, and he looked into my stuff, into my messages.
So
that's how we found out.
What did he find?
There were messages, yes, but...
Actually, ma'am, see, she's gonna,
no.
That's already a lie. I got on there, and on the inbox, I see, "Oh, baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with you. I can't wait to see, the last few days we spent together has been amazing."
These are the messages you're seeing that your wife is entertaining while you're serving your country.
Yes, ma'am. She didn't even have the courage or the decency to tell me. No, your friend's husband told me that she was doing what she's doing because she didn't have the decency to say, "Hey, I'm doing what I want to do."
Ms. Threlkeld, what? Your husband's overseas, serving his country, serving our country, keeping us all safe. What in the world led you to entertain these type of messages on your Facebook? And you've admitted that you had a few indiscretions. What is going on?
First of all, we were done. We were not together. We had a phone conversation, and he had said, "We're going to get a divorce, and I'll send you the divorce papers." And then we hung up. And let me finish.
What had happened was, when I was at Fenty, we got in a phone argument, like she said, on Skype. And I told her, "Look, if you're going to strip after me and you, I've already gone through the discussion that you're not to do it until I get back, and we'll talk about it then." She says...
There was reasons why I needed to.
Yeah, see, she says she needed the funds to support our family. Overseas, I was making $4,000 to $5,000 tax-free a month. Living in a $400
It wasn't even that much.
Room.
Okay, Your Honor, there are expenses when you have kids. The money that was coming in, let's just be real, it wasn't enough to support the kids. And on top of that...
Wasn't enough to support the kids how? Because I'm going to keep it real, $5 grand a month,
I had to
tax-free.
have it mainly...
This is what I'm trying to understand. Ms. Threlkeld, you say you guys were done.
Yes,
so in other words, these things that he's finding on your Facebook and these indiscretions you're telling him about, this really shouldn't be an issue because in your mind, you thought your marriage was over.
Messed up as it may be.
Yes.
Because you all had an argument about you stripping and you hung up.
Yes, Your Honor. We hung up and we said it was done because I wanted to do what I want to do.
Ma'am.
Let me explain.
Okay, now we're getting to the truth.
Okay.
You wanted to do what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And why is it that you wanted to strip?
Because we got married too young. Well, I needed to
She wanted
because
to be a hooker in training,
will
so
you
she'd
just
start
let
stripping?
me talk?
Well, no.
No. See,
The
this is
reason
what I
why
have
I'm
to deal
asking
with.
is because I really want to
He's
know
always calling me.
why
I
you
mean-
chose stripping. I mean, because you could have just said, I want to go get an extra job at the mall.
Okay.
I want to
I
be
had
in
chose-
Ma'am, since
Your Honor,
since we've
I
been
had to
together, since
choose-
2008, she hasn't started working until actually about 3 weeks ago. It was
That
her
is
actually
his job, by
first time
the
job.
way.
Hooking or stripping?
It's not hooking.
You're selling your body for money. Hooker.
No, it's not.
Anyways.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Anyways, to make matters worse, ma'am, when actually went out, the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, that there's going to be the color guard, the motorcycles that drive, in front. The news was going to be there. I get there, and not my father, my mother, my wife, like I said, we'll quote that, weren't even there. We get there, they call everybody's names up, everybody's clapping and cheering. They come to my name, and it's just dead quiet. No one was there. So as everybody's getting ready to go home, I'm sitting there with my bags, and I didn't even have a phone yet, so I couldn't even call her. So I'm sitting there under a streetlight with my army bag on one side and a suitcase on the other.
No, I was waiting in the car for 30 minutes.
Your Honor,
He
actually-
never showed up.
Wait. You waited in the car, so when they called his name, he says no one was there to clap or cheer. Did you hear them call his name?
We weren't at the airport. I was waiting across from his unit where he told me to wait. And I sat there for 30 minutes waiting.
Actually, ma'am, 2 weeks before we came back from overseas, my unit actually sent papers to all the family members back home, giving the exact address and time and who would be there at the time. So it's not like somebody didn't know, or she didn't know where it was at and when it was going to be there. Hell, it was on Channel 5, Channel 8, Channel 7, Channel 14, and 11.
Did she eventually pick you up?
Actually, when she picked me up,
Yes, I did.
she came dressed in her clear hooker shoes and this.
Hooker shoes.
That's one whole outfit?
I think that's a dress is what they call it. I don't know.
Yes.
She's in clear shoes with money still in them. And the
Okay, that was for decoration.
So you come home, Mr. Threlkeld, and your wife and your family aren't there. But she eventually does pick you up. So you were there at
Yes,
some
Your Honor.
point to get him.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So you're riding down the highway.
Yeah, she has her phone, and I was wondering who, because I saw the guy. She hadn't fully admitted that she's been seeing this guy. So I snatched the phone from her, and I started going through it. And as I was looking through it, there was a number that she'd called like 13 times. So I called him right back, and he answers the phone. Hey, I said, who is this? Are you the one that's been my wife? He said, yes, I've been. And now her defense, she starts laughing, saying, I knew he was just going to say that. He's just saying that to make you mad. And it was ridiculous. I mean, that was just the only defense.
So when he calls the guy on the phone, you deny it.
Yeah.
You say, okay.
Your Honor.
So we get back to the house, and throughout the night, I guess she had not gone over there for 3 or 4 days or so. And he texts her and says, I guess I figured now who you picked. And so she starts crying. And I said, why are you crying?
We were already done
and she's
by
like,
then.
well,
Why would
he
it
was my
matter what I
boyfriend.
do? Why do you care?
Why would you have a
does it
boyfriend
matter?
if you're married? Paper or no
We
paper?
weren't. We were done.
You had papers?
Well, why do we have to have papers to be done? You said it was over.
Because in a marriage.
It's called a divorce.
Yeah,
So we were done a few days ago. Just a week ago we were done.
For nothing, you're still
then you
married
went-
till you get one. In your mind, this was a mutual decision that you two were finished and were heading for a divorce.
Yes, Your Honor.
Until you get home, and somehow you end up being husband and wife again, don't you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. We
Your
actually
Honor.
had makeup sex within minutes of being home.
All right. We keep skipping the event or events that led to the conception
Actually, ma'am.
of your last child in which you feel you may or may not be the father.
Well, I was
Why don't you
actually
just be quiet?
when I was overseas and I found out about her stripping and her cheating, there was a few options that came across my head of how I should deal with it. So when I got back home, within those first week or two, we had sex 4 or 5 times a day, and I purposely
She doesn't wanna hear
was
that.
trying to
So
get
you
pregnant.
had it in your mind that if I get my wife pregnant, she'll stop stripping.
Roger.
Because that's going to definitely
what she
be
tells me,
a
kind of like she just
professional-
said, kind of like how she just said, I'm going to strip and I'm going to do whatever I want because that's what I'm going to do. I said, oh, really? Okay, I'll give you a 9-month break on me. I mean, so.
Yeah, but apparently people still want me, regardless.
Even though you've had this conversation that you're done while you were overseas, you come back and you have in your mind, maybe if I could get her to stop stripping, we could maybe make it work. I get her pregnant, she can stay off the pole and stay in the house.
Yes, ma'am.
That's in your mind.
But he didn't think about all the other expenses of having a child. The bottom line, Your Honor, is I had to support my children. There are things you need to do regardless, and I knew he wasn't going to get a job when he came back.
You asked why we're here for paternity court. Within 3 weeks of us being home, she was pregnant. So, I mean, I don't know if it was my devious, messed up head that got her pregnant or the dude. So that's the reason 100% why we're here.
Because the truth is that even though you had that plan in your mind, that if I get her pregnant, that will be a professional hindrance.
But he doesn't think about all the other costs that come along with that and responsibilities. Hence why we have 3 kids
You were
now.
also sleeping with another man during that same time period.
Yes,
Am I
Your
correct?
Honor. Yes.
So you didn't know as well
Yes, Your Honor. That's
who could
correct.
be the father. Now, Mr. Throkel, you asked your wife to take a lie detector test at some point. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. Before she came back, I said, look, obviously the path we're going down right now isn't a good one. Either it's a go or no go. So I think for my insecurities, I'd like you to take a lie detector test. And she kept saying, oh, yeah, that's fine, I'll do it, no big deal.
Why don't
but
we
when
need
it comes
a lie
when it comes
detector
closer
test?
to
We don't need to
actually
take one.
doing it, she starts, getting nervous. I could start telling from body language and, tone of her voice, she was getting nervous.
We don't need a lie detector test. We just need communication. There's no
She
reason.
tells me straight out.
What happened?
She tells me straight out about the people that she actually cheated on me with. Right after our first daughter, she cheated on me with a guy when she was going to cosmetology school. On her way to cosmetology school, she goes to his house. And a little bit before that, he was taking pictures of both of us. And when she went there to go check the photos, she got a tour of the house, and lo and behold, the tour ended at the room. So
you slept with the photographer.
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
What else did you find out?
there was a friend of mine that we've been friends with for a couple years, and when I went to AT, I think it's either annual training or drill, she was watching TV next to this one guy, and she started falling asleep, and next thing you know, he rolled over on her, and she thought it was
Your
me.
Honor, when he, no.
And had sex with him.
Mistaken identity.
I guess. He's about this tall and ugly.
It comes down to the point where I did make a mistake, yes. If I
But
could
you
take it back, I
said,
could,
you
but
said
I
a
can't.
few indiscretions. That's not one mistake.
He's controlling, he is verbally abusive, emotional. He treats my daughter differently than the
Yeah,
other
she's a daddy's
two.
girl.
Well, that's
He
because
calls her,
he
you
has
wanna claim the name
explicitly
that you
said
call
he
her?
doubts that he may or may not be her father. Do you think, honestly, that he is the father of Liliana?
It could be 50-50 chance, honestly, Your Honor.
Anybody got a quarter?
Do you understand that for a man, for any person, that would be really hard to accept? There is a part of me that listens to you both talk and sees that one, if not both of you, maybe still wants to make this work. Are you two interested and trying to see if you could save this marriage?
Yes, Your Honor.
She answered very affirmatively, quickly. How about you, Mr. Threlkel? Are you interested?
Yes. I would say yes, but as a guy, I've never really been put in the shoes to where I would have to
It's
choose
either yes or no.
my kid or not.
You do or you don't.
I mean, there's still a baby involved. I mean, you can't just. I'm not going to take it out on her, even if it's
you're
not
not gonna
mine.
take it out on
even
me?
if it's
Yeah,
not
I've
mine.
been
No, the
paying
one
for
I'm going
this
to take it
for
out on
2
isn't her.
years.
It's the one in the pink shirt.
You're
so
the one
congratulations.
you take it out on me every single
But
day.
let's be clear here. There's not
You just need to get over it.
There's one baby in question as it relates to the paternity. But you all still have 2 additional children together.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're a family.
Yes.
Yes.
So these results are going to affect in some way this family positively or negatively.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. It's time for the results.
Here you go, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our results today were prepared by DNA Diagnostics. In the case of Threlkeld versus Threlkeld, do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of Threlkeld versus Threlkeld, pertaining to 1-year-old Liliana, Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father. Ms. Threlkeld, it seems like you became instantly emotional. Is that relief or is that
Yes, Your Honor, it's
joy
relief.
or
I
both?
mean, it's all together. I'm happy because I know she's his, so I would like to work on everything.
Well, ma'am, there's a reason why, because since the day it's happened, since February 2011 to be exact when I found out, there's not been a day that's gone by that I haven't let her not relive the mistakes she made. Period.
I appreciate your honesty. You were owning up to the fact that you would not let the mistake go. You threw it up in her face over and over
So for
and
2
over.
years.
2
And
years.
I still stayed. No other person would have stayed.
Likewise.
What does that tell you both?
Looks like we're stuck with each other.
I think what's important today about this news is that the doubt, the fear associated with it is gone now. You know. I see your emotion. What do you feel?
You still don't think she
Well,
looks like you, do you?
there was times that I actually kind of disowned her, and every time she came around me, I called her JB,
So now it
for
comes out with
other
the truth.
person's baby. Now that I know that she's not, you know, it's good to know.
You know now that you are her father and you've got a lot of making up to do. Okay? This marriage is the both of yours. Together, you both have to honor it. You both have to respect it. And you both have to be willing to work on it. Court's adjourned.
I feel like I'm actually holding her as my daughter now, and there's no wall dividing, you know, the amount of love that I give to her. So she's not different than the other kids. She's just like, you know, the other two. So definitely a lot of making up to do. As long as I'm still.